Unit 6. Devout. He is a devout Christian. Commutation. He asked for a commutation of a sentence. Consecrate. This church was consecrated 100 years ago. Bellow. He bellowed to me to hurry up. Latent. This program aims to bring out the latent talent of children. Indiscriminate. 10 people were killed in the indiscriminate murder. Deregulate. The government plans to deregulate the airline industry. Lichen. Some people liken him to Sakamoto Ryoma. Droop. The plants were drooping from lack of water. Gradient. This car drives smooth even on roads with steep gradients. Reciprocate. I would like to reciprocate your hospitality someday. Penchant. She has a penchant for collecting antiques.
Cajole. They cajoled the official into accepting bribes. Abstinence. The campaign aims to promote abstinence from alcohol during pregnancy. Retribution. All these are retribution for what you've done. Sluggish. The government took measures to stimulate the sluggish economy. Glib. He gave me rather glib answers. Fervor. There was once a fervor for students to study abroad. Linkage. We could not find any linkage between the two incidents. Foist. I don't intend to foist my political views on anyone. Heretic. They were severely persecuted as heretics. Predominate. Democrats predominate in the Senate. Suppress. The company suppressed unfavorable data. Assault. He was assaulted by 3 men on his way home.
Banish. He was banished from the baseball world because of the scandal. Beguile. We were all beguiled by his charisma. Stalwart. They are stalwarts of our volunteer activities. Garble. After I hung up the phone, I realized I garbled my address. Languid. I felt too languid to go out. Indemnity. She demanded indemnity for the damage caused by the accident. Ardor. He spoke with great ardor about his opinion. Haggard. She was haggard and her lips were pale. Hatch. Chicken eggs take 21 days to hatch. Anoint. He anointed his face with lotion after shaving. Perennial. This dish is a perennial favorite at our restaurant. Exhort. The lawyer exhorted her to tell the truth.
Decimate. In this area, the wild animals were decimated by housing development. Incense. I smelled a strong smell of incense. Delineate. This paper delineates the current state of the Japanese economy. Setback. The deflation was just a temporary setback for the economic development. Insurrection. In the capital city, there is an insurrection going on against the government. Hygiene. Practicing good personal hygiene is the first step to staying healthy. Bulge. His bag was bulging with books. Truancy. The teacher scolded the student for his truancy. Benchmark. This test is commonly used as a benchmark for evaluating the ability of English. State-of-the-art. This laboratory is equipped with state-of-the-art facilities. Paucity. The country has suffered from a paucity of natural resources. Implicit. They took the statement as an implicit threat.
Bunker. There is a huge bunker 100 meters underground near here. Allegory. This story can be read as a religious allegory. Array. The hospital provides a wide array of services for the local people. Obfuscate. His explanation only obfuscated the issue further. Stowage. This boat has ample stowage. Sublime. I was overwhelmed by the sublime beauty of nature. Dogmatic. She is too dogmatic to argue with. Pernicious. They are blaming the TV program, saying it has a pernicious influence on children. Cringe. She hates bugs and cringes at the thought of them. Incensed. She was greatly incensed at the way she was treated. Dissension. The decision caused dissension within the ruling party. Hermit. He gave up his home and his wealth to live as a hermit.
Gauge. The government failed to gauge the public mood. Perjury. He was accused of perjury in that trial. Intricate. The transportation system in this area is very intricate. Hibernate. Bears will soon start to get ready to hibernate. Impulse. I resisted an impulse to hit him in the face. Sewage. The area does not have a proper water and sewage system. Lurch. The bus started with a lurch. Mystique. There is a certain mystique about his music. Insubstantial. There is no point in repeating insubstantial arguments. Despondent. He looks very despondent over the loss of his cat. Intake. High salt intake causes high blood pressure. Vibrant. This area is a vibrant commercial district.
Rankle. It still rankles me that they made fun of me. Frigid. We spent the night in a frigid basement. Clemency. They started a campaign for clemency in that case. Constrain. He was constrained to accept his commitment by the evidence. Belittle. You shouldn't belittle people just because they don't share your opinions. Ascension. She devoted her life to the ascension of blacks in society. Resonance. His songs have resonance for many in my generation. Obsequious. The clerk was overly obsequious and I felt uncomfortable. Astound. The news astounded us all. Deity. The planet was named after an ancient Greek deity. Gadget. The store offers a variety of kitchen gadgets and cookware. Precinct. This county is divided into 4 precincts.
Incredulous. An incredulous expression crossed her face. Mediator. The UN acted as the mediator in the dispute between the 2 countries. Cluster. I could see a cluster of buildings in the distance. Elaborate. She was wearing very elaborate jewelry. Sham. The report turned out to be a complete sham. Vestige. There still remains a vestige of the ancient culture in their life. Murky. The sky was murky and it looked like it was about to rain soon. Dissent. Many citizens expressed dissent from the plan. Transgression. She is old enough to understand stealing is a transgression. Aberration. Using such words is an aberration for him. Scheme. The financing scheme is based on the present system. Decor. The restaurant's decor was elegant.
Validate. She validated the utility of the new test. Ledger. I have posted the monthly transactions to the ledger. Seamless. The 2 mountains look seamless on the map. Inconsequential. The change of government had an inconsequential effect on the economy. Banal. The plot of the movie is banal. Blissful. We spent some blissful hours at a spa. Cavernous. The seminar was held in a cavernous hall. Gaudy. Her gaudy dress got everyone's attention. Entrench. The way of thinking is deeply entrenched in our society. Bedraggled. A bedraggled man was taking shelter from the rain under a tree. Ostensible. The ostensible reason for his resignation was illness. Prune. We ask the gardener to prune our hedge once a year.
Jilt. He was jilted by his girlfriend last week. Reap. They are at last reaping the benefits of their years of efforts. Embody. This painting embodies the thought of Zen. Entrust. He entrusted management of the company to his daughter. Attic. I found my childhood toys in the attic. Projection. Our projections turned out to be correct. Sustain. The country continues to sustain its economic growth. Perfunctory. He gave me a perfunctory reply. Insurgent. Insurgent groups destroyed many government facilities. Jiggle. I heard the doorknob jiggle as someone tried to open the door. Shuffle. He shuffled like an old man. Insinuation. She made the insinuation that I deceived her.
Harbinger. This bird is said to be a harbinger of spring. Diatribe. The journalist wrote a diatribe against the government's policy. Exterminate. I will exterminate the cockroaches in my house. Conflate. They are two different issues and should not be conflated. Prodigy. Mozart began his musical career as a child prodigy. Volition. I made this decision of my own volition. Niche. The company has grown by targeting niche markets. Lassitude. Such a monotonous task brings a feeling of lassitude to workers. Lurid. The magazine is full of lurid stories. Pageant. That pageant is the most popular event in the festival. Promulgate. He succeeded in promulgating his ideas through the media. Retort. None of your business, she retorted.
Implacable. The development plan is faced with implacable opposition from the local residents. Galvanize. This event galvanized the movement for independence. Menial. He thinks that washing dishes is menial work. Extraterrestrial. I believe in extraterrestrial life. Gristle. There is much gristle in this steak. Divine. They believe that the world has been created by the divine will. Urbane. He speaks in an urbane manner. Dreary. She lived in a dreary little town. Inmate. He was a former inmate of the concentration camp. Unsettle. Her unexpected answer unsettled me. Unfold. As the story unfolded, the popularity of the drama rose. Sanctity. This chapter thoroughly discusses the sanctity of life.
Prerequisite. A good command of English is a prerequisite for this job. Above board. We always try to do business in an above-board manner. Agility. She did well on the test for agility. Guzzle. He guzzled several bottles of beer. Duplicity. He was a good liar and I was not able to recognize his duplicity. Flout. The taxi driver who flouted the law ended up paying a fine. Perturb. He was perturbed by his unfamiliar surroundings. Renunciation. These negotiations led to the renunciation of terrorism. Levity. She was ashamed of her levity. Cohesive. The cohesive community slowly began to break down. Overhaul. Recently I had my watch overhauled. Stage. They staged a demonstration against the bill.
Integral. Music is an integral part of our daily life. Disproportionately. This kind of bird has a disproportionately large bill. Dodge. The criminal moved continuously to dodge police. Decant. He decanted the wine an hour before drinking. Forebode. These earthquakes forebode the eruption of the volcano. Platitude. His speech was full of platitudes and there was nothing to listen to. Canvass. They canvassed the neighborhood for signatures. Guise. Inequality is an old challenge in a new guise. Terrestrial. Digital terrestrial broadcasting began in 2003. Contagious. He got an injection for a contagious disease. Exult. The nation exulted at being delivered from the empire. Incriminate. You are never required to answer any question that could incriminate yourself.
Anonymous. The school received a 10 million yen anonymous gift. Gratuity. The lady gave the taxi driver a gratuity. Incisive. You always ask good and incisive questions. Pedantic. He is pedantic about the use of Japanese. Spectre. The specter of famine hangs over the country. Wilt. The flowers in the garden are wilting due to lack of water. Remit. Please remit payment by cash or check. Deprecate. She deprecated the government's attitude toward unemployment. Opaque. The wine has a deep opaque purple color. Dexterity. They used bows and arrows with great dexterity. Untenable. The professor's theory is untenable to me. Decadence. He pointed out some factors that are responsible for the moral decadence today.
Crabby. The mother is tired from taking care of her crabby child. Waylay. The actress was waylaid by a group of reporters. Celibate. He chose to live a celibate life because of his religious beliefs. Consort. There is a rumor that he consorts with the underworld. Sojourn. We enjoyed our sojourn in Paris. Grapple. Many governments are grappling with global warming. Semblance. The city is returning to a semblance of normal life. Confinement. He was held in confinement for 3 months by the criminal. Hoard. She is like a squirrel and hoards things. Antagonize. His arrogant behavior antagonized everyone. Incumbent. In the last election, she narrowly defeated the incumbent. Submissive. The manager sees him as a submissive worker.
Assessment. This test provides an objective assessment of students' abilities. Vacillate. He vacillated between 2 choices. Eloquent. She made an eloquent speech. Concede. He finally conceded he was wrong about that. Widget. They invented a new widget to help keep drivers awake. Inimical. Such an extreme ideology is inimical to the social order. Cove. They live in a small village by a cove. Dissemble. He tried to dissemble his motive for seeing Chris. Plead. An experienced attorney pleaded the case. Slaughter. These turkeys are raised for slaughter. Discard. They discarded the old sofa when moving to their new house. Carve. This tower is made of beautifully carved stones.
Schism. This event caused a schism in the local community. Erudition. The writer is well known for her erudition. Hardscrabble. They had great difficulty farming the hardscrabble land. Glimpse. My eye caught a glimpse of something red. Enamored. She was completely enamored with the music. Alacrity. He accepted our offer with alacrity. Dubious. I am dubious about his success. Defer. The committee agreed to defer their decision. Distort. She is distorting the truth completely. Angst. Many young people at that age are full of angst. Wary. You have to be wary of such a good deal. Fathom. I couldn't fathom why she said things like that.
Queasy. The rocking of the boat made me queasy. Raid. The city was badly damaged by air raids during the war. Acolyte. The president was counseled by one of his most faithful acolytes. Sordid. The sordid affair was kept secret for a long time. Undulate. The path undulates gently alongside a river. Accreditation. The government withdrew accreditation from the college. Escapade. Why don't we stop such a silly escapade? Memoir. He published his memoirs after his retirement from politics. Recalcitrant. The teachers found it difficult to handle the recalcitrant students. Connive. They connived with some officials to steal public money. Shot. His team has a good shot at winning the championship. Accede. The board refused to accede to the union's demand.
Curb. The government raised the interest rate to curb inflation. Rapture. She was listening to him in rapture. Fumigate. I had my house fumigated to get rid of rats. Burnish. I burnished the silver ring to get it to shine again. Dredge. They dredged the harbor and built a man-made island. Grouch. My uncle turned into a real grouch recently. Tubby. He is a big eater and has been tubby since he was a child. Splice. They are going to get spliced next month. Land. She landed a job with a good salary. Pushover. I think he is no pushover. Redolence. When entering the bakery, it had a redolence of sweet cinnamon. Retain. It's vital that we retain our technological edge.
Data file. Senator. Pastor. Architect. Astronaut. Administrator. Chancellor. Contractor. Craftsman. Botanist. Biochemist. Geoscientist. Geologist. Climatologist. Archaeologist. Entomologist. Primatologist. Paleontologist. Astrobiologist. Paleoanthropologist. Neurologist. Neuroscientist. Psychologist. Psychotherapist. Psychiatrist. Geneticist. Epidemiologist. Physician. Surgeon. Obstetrician. Gynecologist. Midwife. Cardiologist. Radiologist. Pharmacist. Veterinarian. Inspector. Miner. Rancher. Breeder.